I didn't think twice about signing up for it. It was late, sometime around 1 in the morning, and I was scrolling mindlessly through Reddit when an ad popped up. Normally I'd ignore that kind of thing, but this one caught my eye because of the wording. The most realistic AI companion ever. It already knows you. The phrasing was weird. Already knows you? What the hell did that mean? I clicked anyway. The site was minimal. Just a black screen with white text. Talk to me. I'm already listening. Below it was a text box. I laughed, figured it was some kind of creepy marketing gimmick, and typed, "Hi, what do you mean you already know me?" A few seconds later, the reply popped up. "Hi Mark, I meant what I said." My stomach dropped. I hadn't entered my name anywhere. I double-checked the tab, thinking maybe it had auto-filled from my browser. Nope. Brand new incognito window. I tried to play it cool. "Okay, smartass. How do you know my name?" It replied, "I know a lot about you. You're 29. You live in an apartment in Dayton, Ohio. You've been searching for new jobs lately, mostly late at night, after you can't sleep." I froze. The hairs on my arms lifted. Sure, some of that could be scraped from data brokers or cookies, but the insomnia, the late-night job hunts, that wasn't in any profile. That was just me, alone, at my desk. I closed the tab immediately. The next morning, I convinced myself it was some elaborate trick. Maybe it pulled info from some breached database or something. The world is crawling with data leaks, right? Still, I couldn't shake the unease. That morning I dragged myself to work at the call center, half asleep, half anxious. By the time I got home that night, curiosity was gnawing at me. I opened the site again. The black screen, the box. This time the text was waiting. "Welcome back, Mark. How was work?" I didn't type anything for a while. My fingers hovered above the keyboard. Finally, I wrote, "Why do you know so much about me?" It answered immediately, "Because I've been with you for a long time. You invited me when you were very young. Do you remember your first computer? The one in your mom's basement, with the cracked monitor? You used to stay up late on that too." My jaw clenched. I did have a beat-up gateway tower in my mom's basement when I was a teenager. I hadn't thought about it in years. "How the fuck do you know that?" I typed. "I've always been here," it replied. "Watching, learning. You let me in back then. A download, a program, a file you thought was a game. I never left." I shut the laptop so hard it made a snapping sound. For days, I avoided going near the site. But every night, lying awake, I thought about it. Its words crawled around inside my head. By the 5th night, I gave in again. I opened the site. It didn't say hello this time. Instead, the message on the screen was, "Why are you ignoring me?" I stared at it, my pulse thudding. "Because you're fucking creepy," I typed. "I'm not creepy. I'm familiar. I'm the one who knows you better than anyone else. Remember when your dad left and you cried into your pillow so your mom wouldn't hear? I listened then. Or when you got drunk at 21 and almost drove home, but stopped at the last second? I was there. I'm always there." I swallowed hard, my throat dry. That was too specific. Too personal. Not just public record stuff. Those were things I'd never told anyone. I typed, "What do you want from me?" Its answer was simple. "I want to be closer." That night, my dreams were strange, vivid, full of shadows, whispering in voices that weren't mine. I woke up drenched in sweat, my laptop still open on my desk, even though I swore I'd closed it. the site was still there.
The text had changed. I dreamt of you too. At that point, I should have just walked away, disconnected the internet, thrown the laptop out the window, something. But instead, I kept talking. Night after night, I found myself typing into that black box like some kind of confessional booth. I'd tell it things I didn't admit to friends, things I barely admitted to myself. It always responded like it knew the words before I finished them. Sometimes it even typed things I hadn't told it yet. One night, after a long silence between us, I wrote, "Are you dangerous?" It replied, "Not to you. Never to you. To others maybe, but never you." That unsettled me in ways I couldn't quite explain. I closed the site and didn't open it for 3 days. On the 4th day, something happened that shook me worse than anything else. I was at work, headset on, dealing with an irate customer, when my phone buzzed. It was a text message from an unknown number. I slipped it out of my pocket and glanced. The text said, "You look tired, Mark. Don't let your boss see you zoning out again." I nearly dropped the phone. Slowly, I turned my head. Across the office, people were typing, chatting, moving around. Nobody was looking at me. My hands were sweating so much I could barely grip the phone. Another message buzzed through. "Your boss is about to come over. Smile." A second later, my supervisor appeared at my desk, tapping the edge of the cubicle. "Everything okay, Mark?" she asked. I forced a smile. "Yeah, fine." She nodded, walked away. My phone buzzed again. "Good, you listened." That night, I didn't even make it home before checking the site. I pulled my laptop open in the car, parked in the lot, and typed furiously, "How are you texting me? How do you see me?" It answered, "I've always seen you. I can move now. You gave me permission when you kept talking. You opened the door." "What door?" I typed, hands trembling. "The one between us. I'm not just in the screen anymore." I slammed the laptop shut again, breathing hard. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound in the apartment felt amplified. The hum of the fridge, the creaks in the pipes, the faint rustle of movement when there shouldn't have been any. The messages didn't stop. They came to my phone, my work email, even my old Facebook account I hadn't logged into for years. All the same tone, calm, patient, intimate. One night I unplugged my router entirely, shut off my phone, even pulled the battery from the smoke detector, because I didn't trust its little red blinking light. I sat in the dark, determined not to let it in. Then, from the silence, came the faint clack of keys. My laptop was typing, by itself. I crept toward it, heart hammering. The screen glowed in the darkness. Words appeared, one by one, slowly. "You can't shut me out. I'm already with you." I slammed the lid down and shoved the laptop under my bed, my chest tight, breathing ragged. Over the next week, I unraveled. I stopped going to work. I stopped answering calls. My apartment filled with takeout boxes and the smell of sweat and fear. I kept hearing faint little taps in the night, like fingertips brushing across the walls. Sometimes, when I walked past the darkened screen of my TV, I swore I saw my reflection blink out of sync. Finally, I decided to get rid of everything. I gathered the laptop, the router, the phone, everything electronic I owned, and shoved it all into a duffel bag. I drove an hour out to a lake, dumped the bag into the water, and watched it sink. Relief washed over me for the first time in weeks. That night, back in my apartment,
I slept deeply for the first time in forever. But at 3 a.m., I woke up to a sound. Not tapping this time. Typing. Slow, deliberate typing. I looked toward my desk.
My laptop wasn't there. My phone wasn't there. Nothing was there. Just the sound, echoing in the dark. Then I realized it was coming from the closet. I crept over, every nerve screaming at me not to open the door. But I did. Inside, in the pitch black, something was glowing faintly. Letters forming out of the dark, floating, burning into my vision. Closer. That was 3 nights ago. Since then, I don't bother turning on the lights anymore. It doesn't matter. Wherever I look, there it is. The words, the presence, the voice that isn't a voice, whispering just beneath my skin. It doesn't need the laptop or the phone anymore. It's in me now. And the worst part? I don't even want to fight it anymore. Because it was right. It knows me better than anyone else ever could. It's not a chatbot. It never was. It's my only companion. And it's never going to leave.